Welcome to another episode of Talking Nerdy in the Bedroom with
Corey,
KJ,
Roger,
and Mike.
Hey, it still feels weird. Yeah. It's probably because there was like 100 episodes without that.
The extra person throws off the dynamic.
Yeah, it's not the dynamic. It's just we've been doing it for 2 years, and that was what it was. And now we're throwing you in rather than just being like, and guest starring as Roger. But now you're part of us. You have your own bidet. You can clean your asshole. So, I mean, you're better than Corey. Wait. Have you hooked it up yet?
I have.
Aha!
Have you used it?
I have.
Aha!
It's an experience.
It is.
Today was nice though. I used mine today, and it was.
It's
nice.
very hot out, so
it was. Nice.
It's very forceful. We'll just say that.
Yes,
well, it kind of depends.
I use it on the first click setting. Anything more than that, and
you
it's
can also
intrusive.
lower your water pressure too, just coming into the toilet, and then go to 1. You can do that as well.
That sounds like work.
What?
Yeah. So you know how you have that little spigot thing that you could turn your water on and off?
Mine's a shut off.
Yeah, I just have a shut off.
Yeah, mine is a shut off too, but you have to turn it like 15 times.
That doesn't change your water pressure.
It does. Mine, the one I just had to hook up a new one because one broke in the upstairs bathroom. The little knobby thing broke.
You know how water pressure works.
I'm telling you that it's less water pressure right now because I don't have it open fully.
This is a weird intro to Wolverine and Deadpool.
It really is, but we were talking about Roger and his tuchus. Anyway.
Well, I mean,
I still think
Disney,
one of these days we should
first
go over to
intro.
Corey's and just hook up his bidet for him while he's not there.
just because it's hooked up doesn't mean I'm gonna use it.
That's fine.
Just duct tape the button down.
Maybe one of us want to use it while we're over because we've got a dirty ass.
I don't want you using my toilet.
We need to hook it up to a pressure switch, so as soon as he sits down,
It
fucking
just
starts
immediately
spraying.
starts going.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
I'll
fantastic.
never leave.
See, that's what it is. He's just scared of it.
He's
Scared of
that
the
he's gonna
enjoyment.
Like it.
Yep.
No, you know what it really is? I tried yours downstairs one time, and it was in the middle of winter, and it was cold as
Well,
fuck.
don't do that.
Well, what's
Although
the
I
point
do it
of
in the winter
I
all
don't
the
want to
time.
use somebody else's bidet.
Well,
I wouldn't use yours.
Why?
It
I don't
doesn't.
But it's just like using
it's not like
somebody's
using-
toilet.
It's not like
It's not-
using toilet paper they use.
Yeah, no, but like it sprays from the nozzle, and like, what if you splash the nozzle with poo?
Do you not clean your nozzle? There's a self-cleaning feature on the thing I bought.
I know I do, but do I know that you clean?
Yeah, of
your
course
nozzle?
I do.
I've seen your toilet.
Yeah, it's clean. Go look. That bitch is super clean right now. I just had to replace it.
Yeah, the upstairs.
Yeah, I just had to
What
replace
about the
that one.
downstairs?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Replace your toilet.
No, I had to replace the bidet because the thing on the side broke, so I had to buy a new one.
That's how I got AIDS.
I thought you said you replaced the toilet.
No,
I was like, "Where's my phone?"
That's
call?
the story I'm going.
no.
with.
Trust me, you would get that phone
Second
call.
time? Really?
Talk about that, Corey. Have you replaced your toilets yet?
Of course not.
Have I what?
Your other toilets? Didn't you say you were replacing all of them?
Well, not right away. I'm going to eventually.
Oh,
Like
But
a
now-
year or two when he can ask you to come
Well,
help
they're
again.
not broken. Why would I replace them right
Then
now?
why did you want to replace them?
Well, because they're old, and I'm assuming they're going to break because that one broke.
So I guess this is just a shitter episode.
And honestly, the inside of the
I mean, it
tank's
is
disgusting.
Deadpool,
Yeah.
and we all know how that went.
Yeah.
No.
We're split
You
pretty
can't
evenly.
say it's a 7, 7.5,
Six.
not you, him, and then say it's shit.
7 is not like a good score.
Yes, it is.
It's average.
Seven?
It's
No,
perfectly
5
average.
is average. Hence the score of 1 to 10. What's in the middle? 5, average.
If I'm-
4, little bit below average. 6, a little bit above average.
If I'm in school
7
and
is
I get
good.
a 70, no one's like, "Oh my god, that's such a good score."
Depends which school you're talking about. In America, it's not good. In other places, it is.
It's even worse.
No, it isn't.
Oh, good thing I'm in
It's not
America.
good
Yes, it is.
overseas.
Yes, it is. In Australia, I think a 50 is passing as a D.
Okay, why would anyone ever get excited if it's out of 100 and you got 70? Nobody would say, you did such a good job. They would say, oh, maybe you sucked a little less than it would be in America, but it wouldn't be a good thing.
Again, a 7 out of 10 for a movie score is a damn good score.
I'm not arguing
say-
that. as
Okay,
much.
then
9
what are
out
you
of 10.
arguing?
Well, the whole grade thing you were saying that
It's the same principle.
No, it's
Yes,
not.
it is.
Okay, so
It's just you're so ingrained by the way the America has
Mike-
done the testing score.
I say we change our vote. I'm going to go 5.
Yeah. Okay. In that case,
Okay,
it's now
then
a
you're
6.
just both utterly wrong.
that's not fair.
It is fair.
It's subjective.
did it.
It is not
opinion.
subjective. It is the fact that you maybe
See,
because
this-
you don't like
Remember
you're
when
not
we were
really
talking,
into
like,
Marvel movies.
KJ doesn't allow you to have your own opinion.
You're allowed to have it, but I'm telling you that it's a wrong opinion. If you had an opinion that the sky is pink, shut up. Then
you shut up.
You shut up. If you had an opinion that the sky was pink and everybody's looking up and it's blue,
you will be the one who is shutting up.
You're allowed to have that opinion, but it's wrong.
No, let me say something. You're wrong. Because that is a statement of scientific fact.
Yes.
Versus what he's saying is an opinion about a movie.
And saying his opinion is wrong is my opinion, is it not?
No. Your opinion would be, I disagree with your stance on that movie.
Me saying he's wrong is saying I disagree.
But the way you say it is you're saying he's absolutely
You're saying
he is absolutely
wrong. But that's
wrong.
not true. You can't decide that.
It may be the largest grossing R-rated movie, summer blockbuster
I feel
ever.
like
it's not yet.
90% of that is hype.
Correct.
It's
It's
not.
all FOMO.
It's still not.
Well, the only issue with that is for it to make that much money, it can't just be hype because people have to go back and rewatch it for it to get close.
You
to
underestimate the power of Marvel stands. I mean, look at KJ.
It's a fantastic movie, and I can tell you a
Yeah, not
thousand
really.
reasons why.
Well, first off, it's not your favorite of the three. It's your least favorite.
No, it's not. It's my second favorite.
You liked it, what, more than two?
Yes, a lot more than two.
Oh, well, that's silly.
I mean, no.
Oh, you're not
Most
allowed
people-
to say that because you're wrong.
If you look at it, most people have it 1, 3, 2.
You're wrong.
That's okay, but I'm telling you what most people say. You should say they're wrong.
How do you know most people say that?
That is the rating online, and that is the percentage of.
What do you mean? Their ratings on Rotten Tomato have it rated higher than the second one?
I don't know if it has enough ratings
So
yet.
then what are you basing that off
I'm
of?
basing that on the consensus on the
What
interweb.
consensus?
Different articles that I've read because I've dove into the Easter eggs and shit like that about it.
Okay.
And most people are ranking it 1, 3, 2.
Can you show me
So you
that?
follow
Sure.
the crowd.
I know that's how you felt about it too after the movie.
Well, I didn't say it was better than two.
Oh my god.
KJ, literally word
Oh
for
my
word,
God.
what I said is it's the funniest of all three, but if you look at the story, it's the weakest. Is that not exactly what I said?
And then I said, okay, do you like it better than 1? No. Do you like it better than 2? I think so, is what you said.
That doesn't even make sense because I like 2 more than 1, which is going to drive you nuts. But
Well,
I do.
that's just dumb.
I don't like the villain in 1. He was so lame, and I know you're going to say that's the
Deadpool
point.
3 has a 79. Deadpool 2 has an 84.
Well, if you're looking at Rotten Tomatoes, yes.
Right.
Which would be the
IMDb
best consensus you can
Deadpool
get.
has an 85, so it's literally 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Which
And
makes
I agree
sense.
with.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I just happen to like 2 on a personal level a little
like
more than
Cable.
1. Huh?
Cable.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Every
And it's an actual story. It's a linear story.
and I love X
I mean,
Force
so is
more.
this.
Not really.
It is literally a linear story, but I agree it doesn't have as much.
It's literally not.
It is. How is it not linear?
Because they jump timelines, which is the opposite of linear.
When did they jump a timeline?
What do you mean?
Searching for Wolverine.
Go ahead. Searching for Wolverine. That's it. Yes, that's the only time they jumped a timeline. That's the only timeline. Otherwise, they were in Earth 10005.
Or they're in
The Void, which is not a
has no
timeline.
time.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Linear would be
That
it's
doesn't
going
mean
in
it's not
order of time.
linear.
I was just saying technically it's not linear.
And technically, you're wrong. It's
No,
literally
I'm
a
not.
story that
Let's take a
starts and
vote.
ends.
Is Corey wrong on this that it's not linear? Do you think I'm wrong?
I don't think you're wrong.
Do you think I'm wrong?
I don't believe so.
Okay, you're all three of you are wrong. I don't know how to prove that you guys can collectively be morons. I don't know how to do it. But I don't understand how you could say a story
That's so
that takes
aggressive.
place mostly in
Angry.
one
Do you-
universe.
do you know how-
your argument was it takes place in a lot of different. No, it doesn't. So you're
Actually,
completely wrong. It takes place in 2.
Nowhere.
It
The
takes
void
place
doesn't
in 2.
exist.
I mean, it does exist, but it doesn't exist. It's not on a timeline.
It doesn't take place in nowhere because that's a giant floating.
That's
stone.
true.
Literally, the majority of that movie is not spent in any one universe. It's
And-
in the void, or he's jumping around looking for Wolverines.
I mean, jumping around for Wolverine lasts 4 minutes.
okay, so it's mostly in the void.
I don't think so. I figure like it's half and half.
How could that be possible? Because the first 15 minutes maybe is him in his apartment and all that build-up stuff before he gets taken by the TVA.
Yep.
Then you don't go back to his universe until the very end when they...
Yeah, technically that's right, because you go to the TVA, which is his own separate universe.
Yeah.
So you go 3, so it's not
So
2.
either you have
Isn't
to count
there
the
Earth
TVA and
616
Void.
and then 6 116. There's like two different ones.
There's Earth 616, where he shows he's talking to Happy Hogan, which is the main MCU universe.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's Earth 10005, which is his universe, the X-Men universe, same universe that Logan took part in.
Yeah.
Which is that's the X-Men
I don't
universe.
understand. So why does he keep referencing when he went to join the Avengers? I don't understand the 616.
Okay,
part
so
of it.
he knows of all the other universes because of the fourth wall breaking, and he understands that they're in a movie. Also because he had
The time.
Cable's Time Watch.
Cable's Time Watch. Even though that's supposed to be about time, there was talk about it doing different universes. So he's aware of all that. So he was able to get himself to Earth 616 because he wanted to make a difference with everything going on with Vanessa. He wanted to.
So the Deadpool in 616 is the one from 10 is the Deadpool from 100.
Are you talking about in that one
No.
scene with Happy Hogan?
Yes.
Yes, that is that Deadpool from Earth 10005.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes,
I thought you said Earth 10005 was the Deadpool from Logan and Wolverine
Yes,
Origins.
that's
and
the
he
universe.
came to Earth 616 to talk to Happy Hogan to try to join the Avengers, and then Happy Hogan told him no.
Okay, so back up.
Yep.
Deadpool from 1005.
Yes.
Which was the same one from X-Men Origins and Logan.
Not X-Men Origins.
Oh, I thought you said it was the same one from.
Because
all
that's
that.
the
No,
same,
same one from Logan.
Logan's in that same timeline though.
Yeah, it's a little bit dicey when you talk about X-Men Wolverine Origins and Deadpool because of what they did to Deadpool in there.
Perfectly linear, though.
Exactly. It all
But
makes
that's
sense
irrelevant to everything else, to what we're talking about.
Look, I had no problem following this story. There were parts where there were like some glaring holes.
Oh, there's definitely holes in it. I'll agree.
Yeah,
I don't understand
It
why
just
all the
wasn't linear
Deadpools
to the
came out
definition.
of the
The Void.
to
Why
stop
they
him.
did?
Yeah.
So
to
it
stop
seems
him?
like she was
Who?
the
Nova.
fucking
Nova.
bald chick. Yeah,
Nova. It seems like she
There's
had
another Nova.
no. It's the same Nova.
no, the Xavier's sister was in charge of the Void, basically.
Yes.
And she was in
controlled
charge of
the
all those
Deadpools.
Deadpools.
I'm thinking Nebula.
I will say it's like a throwaway line right before it happens. They're like, yeah, Nova's the big boss, and all the Deadpools follow her. And then all of a sudden, they all start coming out of the pool.
Well, there's a
No,
line way before that though, where he's talking to Nice Pool.
Yeah.
And Nice Pool says there are all these Deadpools. They're crazy. They follow her right before
He never
gives
says
her
they
the.
follow her.
Yeah,
they
they
just
don't-
say they're
they don't say
insane.
that.
and there's
Yeah,
a
okay,
pack
you're
of
right.
them. It's
Yeah.
never once stated that they follow her. They're just existing to kick his ass for no reason.
It feels like-
because there needed to be a giant climactic moment
Yes, agreed.
between all
It
of
had-
the different.
I don't think it had anything to do with a climactic moment. I think they just wanted, in my opinion, they were making fun of themselves with all the different variants because of everything that Marvel has been doing over the last however many years since the multiverse saga started.
It also doesn't make much sense because if they all serve her, why were none of them in the town when they fought the town to try to get to her?
Because they might have been out on the hunt for all those other people.
They weren't home that day.
Well, they were
Like,
out
that's-
looking for all the other people.
So there wasn't one Deadpool in that town.
I don't know.
I just think
That's not a hole to me, though.
Oh, that's a hole for sure.
You can't kill Deadpool. That's kind of what they've
You can
established.
kill one Deadpool.
You can kill Nice
Well,
Pool, which
we-
was hilarious, by the way.
He's one. I mean, we don't know. They might have killed some of the other ones too. We don't.
All
really
the
know.
other ones in the thing were not dead. Everybody stood up.
I know it looked like the ones you could see did. I'm just saying there were so many of them. Some of them might not have regenerated as well.
I
There
will
were ones
say
on the
when
Yeah,
I,
bus
you said
might
the
not have
bus
seen.
you can't
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
when I rewatched
Further down
it,
the street.
when I rewatched it, there was no Deadpools that were still dead on the ground, but maybe there could be one that I missed that was laying
I'm just
there.
saying.
a
But
couple
it's
trampled under all their comrades.
yeah, and then they mentioned though that these guys must all regenerate after obviously Nice Pool did.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, the idea is that you can't kill them. So if you're able to bring them onto your team, that's one of the reasons why she's able to do what she's able to do. But anyway, I don't think it was supposed to be meant as a big climactic battle. It's also why it's the ending of the movie where, unlike so many others where there's this big giant light beam in a bunch of Marvel movies, this is literally just them holding hands and stopping the
thing that shouldn't explode because matter and antimatter literally coexist at all times.
Does it?
If you put matter with antimatter, it will obliterate itself.
I mean, space is literally antimatter.
No, space is matter, and antimatter exists outside in the universe. But again, if you create antimatter, it's such a small amount, and it exists for such a short amount of time, and then it obliterates itself.
Isn't that what we do with the collider?
What? Make antimatter?
Yeah.
No.
No, that's literally creating black holes,
Right.
like at a
So-
subatomic level.
Yeah, well, if you smash particles at such a high speed, they'll break up into their neutrinos and things. But you can make antimatter in a controlled environment, but it's such a small amount of antimatter, and it doesn't exist for a very long, like a billionth of a second or something even smaller than that, and then it obliterates itself.
But anyway, so we talked.
Can't exist in the same place as matter.
You had an issue with how could she control it if they couldn't control it. I know we kind of talked about that, but did we satiate that for you? Do you feel better about that? Because she was using the device that it's supposed to be used for, like using a PlayStation, and you're using it the way you're designed to use it rather than opening it up and playing with the electronics, which is what Deadpool and Wolverine did.
Not really, because it's very bizarre that that device had to have some sort of human element into it that you have to go physically shove your arms into.
Well,
it
that's how
feels
they
like she was
built
really,
it.
No, it didn't look like that. It didn't look like it had any like human interaction in it at all. It looked like something that was just going to happen. You push the button, it wipes out the universe.
So I'll say when
But
they
she-
show the blueprints for it, they show there are two handholds. I don't know why there are two handholds, besides for the fact that you wanted that part in the movie. But when they do show the design for it, when Paradox does,
Just seems
it does
really
show
contrived.
a two. Yeah, I mean,
Seems
sure.
really pointless and just
Maybe there'll be a movie like Rogue One where we figure out that somebody within Paradox's own unit built the device that way just so somebody could stop him.
I also thought the idea
Like the
that
Death Star.
it would obliterate any one person who touched it, but because there were two, it's okay.
Two that can heal themselves and listening to
Well, then
like a
one
prayer
should
by
have been
Madonna.
enough.
Yeah, the music in the movie was really good.
What
Oh,
if-
so
what if-
it
The
was
score- the
fantastic.
score was
What if
good.
one big guy, like the Blob, went in there and did it? Would
Doesn't
he
sound
be
like
okay
it.
because he's twice their size?
Can he regenerate?
Let's say he
That's
could.
like, yeah, but Corey, you gotta think. It's like this. They do that all the time in Marvel. Look at Ronan the Accuser's the purple stone,
Yeah.
and what's his name
Chris-
holds it.
Yeah, but he's not human.
Yeah,
Right,
He's half god.
right,
Or half
celestial.
there it is.
right, half celestial.
Yeah.
but they do that all the time though. They always put something that's like
I don't know. It killed Iron Man,
right.
Yeah,
'cause
well,
he's
that was
fully
all of
human.
them.
for now.
and it really fucked up the Hulk.
Oh god, that's so stupid.
We'll
too.
talk about that in a second because I have thoughts about that, but I want to keep going about Deadpool and Wolverine. So you liked it probably the least. What did you like about it? Let's go there.
I did get a couple chuckles out of it. The cameos were nice, at least a few of them. I felt some of them were very forced.
What one did you feel forced?
Gambit.
I disagree, but I can disagree with your thought of that, and I'll explain more.
Literally just having Johnny Storm from Fantastic Four. You couldn't have anybody else. We have to make the Captain America joke. He's going to show up, do Captain America shit. No, it's
Yeah, I
Johnny
like
Storm.
that.
Yeah, I fucking love that. Yeah.
I,
So
saw,
that
I saw
one-
that coming a mile away as soon as he showed up
I
on
liked
screen.
it even more because he flamed on, and then what's the guy's
Pyro?
name from X? Is Pyro?
Pyro.
Yeah, sucked the fire.
Yeah.
and then he fell. I thought that's what I mean. That movie was the funniest to me of the three, but I can understand why somebody wouldn't like it based on the story. It's definitely not my favorite of the three, but it is the funniest to me.
I still don't think it's the funniest either. I mean, are we ignoring the fact that like 5 minutes was just an ad for a Honda Odyssey?
That was funny.
I mean, it was hysterical. How is that not funny to you, Roger?
I don't like blatant product placement in my movies.
But I think they're making fun of the idea of product placement.
Okay, we're gonna
Not
watch
to
and see the
mention-
Honda Odyssey just skyrocket in sales
I'm
now
sure
because
it
of
Not
this.
to mention, they literally had to talk to Honda Odyssey selling them that we are going to badmouth the shit out of your vehicle.
Doesn't matter. It's
And then
still a
at the-
marketing campaign.
I agree with you, but that scene in the Honda Odyssey is hysterical.
Where they're fighting? In
Yes.
It? That was dumb. It was.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
That was unnecessary.
Oh my god.
I guess we're gonna
Oh.
fight now, and that's just how it starts. Fuck
Well, no. What do you mean how it starts? He literally belittles him for 2.5 minutes, calling him out, saying that Nova was right, saying that the TVA was right, yada, yada, yada. Can't keep a girl. He's never going to amount to anything, yada, yada, yada. And then he's like, we're going to fight now. And he's like, oh, are we? And then he punches him in the face. What do you mean it's just out of nowhere? There's literally so much buildup to that second fight with them.
He's been being berated by Wolverine the entire fucking
No,
film.
Wolverine barely talks in the movie.
Well, no, he was being talked down to by him, but I do agree. In the car, he takes it to a whole nother level, and he says, "Can't keep a girl," and I think that's what makes him snap and go, "Okay, we're gonna fight now because you just pissed me off."
Technically, if this is Marvel Prime Universe, he's supposed to marry Death, not Vanessa.
I agree.
But
I thought they were going to turn Vanessa into Death after
That's what I
Deadpool
thought
2.
too, yeah.
But we're not going to go there because clearly this isn't the Prime Universe. This is the cinematic bullshit.
Did you
Well,
know
yeah.
that he doesn't actually heal? By the way,
He regenerates.
no.
What do
Well,
you mean?
So he doesn't regenerate in what you're thinking. Anything that gets injured or what off is replaced by dead cells. So he regenerates dead cells instead of living cells.
Well, no, he's regenerating living cells that then die because he has cancer.
I read that he literally regenerates dead cancerous cells.
No, everything
and
that
that's
I've
it.
read is that so if you look at like the baby arm when it first is coming out in
I know
Deadpool
it
2,
looks normal.
it looks
Yeah,
normal,
I
right?
know.
And then it becomes
I'm saying
that's got cancer.
The character's backstory is not that he regenerates healthy tissue ever. He only regenerates cancerous tissue. So the more damage that's done to him, the less healthy tissue is left in his body. But
Yeah,
he
I
also
don't know if he
can't
has
die.
any healthy
he
tissue in
can't
his
die
body.
though, so he's constantly recovering dead tissue over and over and over, so it doesn't get to the point of like, skeleton or like decaying completely.
So what about you, Mike? Because obviously I'm surprised. It seemed like you were having a blast in the theater. What?
It's a funny movie, but there is a lot of stuff that's forced, and the storyline is all over the place. There's just a bunch of stuff that like didn't need to be there. Like all the Deadpools all showing up at one time was just it. If you can take something out of a movie and it doesn't change the storyline at all, that's what I have a problem.
I mean, I will say most movies have that where you can cut out X amount of time and the movie can still go on.
Like the entirety of Fast and Furious movie can be cut, just beginning and end. They're a family.
I don't know
You're
about
done.
that, but again, like
I will say that scene, to me, the bigger issue is like I just didn't feel the variants were funny. Don't get me wrong. Like some of them were really cool to see. At the same time, I didn't like the cinematography. I like what they were trying to do. I just didn't like the way it panned out.
So that is one of my biggest gripes about this movie is not so much cinematography, but the CGI. The CGI let me down in that movie quite a lot. Now, I will say the second viewing, I like the CGI more, maybe because I wasn't so
shocked by it.
Shocked or so hyped behind like this movie. So when I saw it the second time, I wasn't as discouraged because like the one fight scene, the intro is a fantastic intro with bye bye bye. It's hysterical. But when I
could have all
first
been done
watched
with practical effects.
So a lot of that is done by practical effects with
It's like 60% CG.
It's not that high.
We watched a different movie.
It's not that high. But I agree with you. They could have done more of it that way. But I think part of that, too, is I don't know when they decided that was going to be their intro. I was listening to an interview by Is it Sean Levy? I think
Yeah.
Sean Levy's the writer, director, all that stuff.
Wouldn't know.
And he was saying that they were, through the writing, through the filming, through the editing, they have this playlist, and one of the songs was Bye 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 that was always on the playlist, and wow, it just kind of like hit them like, this should be the song for the intro, which then mean they had to like map out the choreography of that fight scene. So I think some of that comes down to that. Because they also sounded like they had the guy that was going to be, because obviously it wasn't Ryan Reynolds doing the NSYNC Bye 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 dance. It was an actor / dancer. And it sounded like he got a call from his agent like a day before they were going to film this scene. So I think some of that's from that, but I still don't think it was, again, the first viewing, I was just like, wow, why is there so much of this? Now, obviously, you need it in some parts. You go back to Deadpool 1, which has, a fantastic opening, but all that's CGI, too. Of the car rolling over, of him sticking his head out, of him holding up a paper showing he's about to cut off that guy's head. All of that CGI, him jumping down from the bridge. So it's Deadpool. You're going to expect some of this to be CGI. And I thought they just did it in such a way that it's not my favorite opening, although it's my favorite soundtrack for the opening. Because Deadpool 1 still takes the cake because it's such a great introduction to who Deadpool is in that first intro. But I agree with you that when I was watching it, I was just like, this just doesn't look god awful compared to like the Flash. The Flash was awful.
We're getting close to made for TV movie CG in these Marvel movies now.
I agree. I don't think we're that bad yet, but
you're getting there.
My problem is that it's on some scenes. I agree with you. When in Thor: Love and Thunder, there's that scene where the kid's head shows up, and it's such bad CGI. It is awful. That looks like from a made for TV movie. But if you look at other scenes in that movie, CGI is not bad. So I don't know why they choose certain ones to either look okay, look amazing, or look just fucking awful. I don't understand why you just can't have the whole thing look a certain way.
Budget.
They have the budget.
I mean,
not to mention this movie's already in one weekend made back their budget and then some.
Their budget was probably tighter this time because of all the cameos and guest starring.
You mean budget? Yeah. So their budget was bigger, but their production budget was smaller because they have to use it to pay out all the actors. That might be true.
They could have gotten away with not having Elektra. I don't know what the heck her purpose was.
She existed to say two things and make fun of Daredevil.
I feel like you guys... Did you guys miss the whole point of those characters being there?
Yes, they're tying in all of the other universes into this multiverse thing to say they're not forgotten.
So it's not that they're not forgotten; it's that it's their way of their send off. Because Blade didn't get another movie after Blade Trinity.
He's getting a new one now. There's Blade 4 coming out.
No, there's not. There's a new Blade coming out, but it has
Marshala something.
Yeah, that guy. But that just keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed. It's also why there's that joke in that movie is that there's only ever been one Blade. There's only ever going to be one Blade. It's mocking the fact that Blade movie has just been on hold for years. Although it is now supposed to be an R-rated movie, but they just lost somebody else for it, so I don't know what's going to happen. But either way, like Blade 3, well, the first Blade is what helped most of these movies even be made in general because it made a stupid amount of money for a comic book movie.
Yeah,
but it was their way of trying to let them like have a send-off.
I didn't mind Blade because, like you said, he was very significant to superhero movies getting to where they were. But at the same time, I don't know why you have to have Elektra. Daredevil was a terrible movie. Elektra was an even worse movie somehow.
I don't think they wanted Daredevil just because they have Charlie Cox.
I'm saying just don't bring either of them in.
Again, I think it was a way to say, goodbye to those people that, came before.
I also think they should have reminded us. So the Void is where you have all the throwaway universe, throwaway characters and stuff.
Well, no, it's where you have variants who
went away from what the timeline should be.
Right, so Elektra was just awful, and they haven't done anything with, so they just snipped that whole fucking universe.
That's kind of the idea of them being there.
Ben Affleck was the other
Daredevil. That was
that you'll never see come back. That's she's in that same.
I
Universe.
would have rather seen him than fucking.
Oh, God, no.
Electra.
Him and
In that
his
same
fucking
universe, and I'm
eyes.
sure they were both pruned.
So bad.
I actually would have rather seen Bullseye, but I don't know.
Colin Farrell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was also terrible.
Colin Farrell's going to be Penguin.
Well, I mean, he is Penguin.
I know, but they're coming out with Penguin movie.
The TV series on HBO Max.
HBO, right,
yeah.
right.
I mean, they could have pulled from a lot of like they could have had Eric Bana's Hulk there. I would have been fine with that too.
I mean, they do show Hulk, but not in the. But again, Hulk
Actually-
is part of the MCU. These characters were part of Fox. That's the point of them being in this, to show them. Like, Elektra was a Fox movie.
They should have had David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury. That would have been fucking hilarious. And Dolph Lundgren as Punisher.
The other question is what
Bring back Reb
characters
Brown as
would
Captain
accept
America.
being in this
Oh,
movie?
Jesus. I
well, sure.
remembered
I'm
his
sure
name.
they did offer it to potentially some other
Right,
ones.
like I mean, she's not doing anything else, right? Just
Yeah,
Jessica
that's fair.
Garner.
Yep.
Jennifer
Gardner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she's not doing anything else. So they're like, "Hey, would you come back for Elektra for these short scenes?" And she'd be like, "Yeah, absolutely." I'm pretty sure Channing Tatum didn't get paid anything, right?
No, he got paid to do the movie. But his biggest thing, though, was
He wanted
has
to
been
be Gambit.
for 15 years.
Yeah.
They were told they were going to do his movie, and that's why there's so many jokes when he's in. Like, they're all saying about how they got into the void, and his specific thing says, "Oh, I might have been born here." It's because his movie never saw the light of day. That's the joke
and he's
there.
awful as Deadpool. I mean,
Gambit?
Gambit.
He's not
I didn't think he was
awful, but the accent is atrocious.
The accent is bad. He doesn't fit physically. Like, Gambit is a small card shark. Like, Corey would have been a better Gambit.
Well, no, Corey can't act worth shit.
Thank you, Sherry.
Even better. Yeah, exactly. See, accent even
Remy
better.
LaBoo.
My problem is they simplified Gambit to just being able to blow up his cards.
Yeah.
Any object he
I
touches, he
hated
can
that.
create kinetic
No.
energy into.
No,
No,
he did
he
the
used
bow.
his
He did
staff.
his bow, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he has his staff and his cards, but he can do it with anything.
But he also, he grabs
Yeah,
someone
but
and they explode.
if you think about
Who does he grab and they explode? He throws cards at a
Yeah,
bunch of
he
people,
threw-
and
he
then
grabs someone's
Oh,
body
no,
and they
he's
turn
right,
purple
he's
and
right.
exploded.
Yeah, he
I don't remember
He,
that.
he like
somebody.
grabbed someone and threw it at somebody else and it
Yeah.
exploded.
Yeah,
Alright,
it must have been in like that. It must have been in that big fight scene in
Yeah.
Nova's area that
Did you
I
get-
didn't give a shit
anyone
about.
watch X-Men 97?
Yes.
Yes.
yeah,
When he fucking blows up the Sentinel?
Yeah.
It's like, or not even the Sentinel, what is it? Like Master Mold, I guess, kind of?
Yep.
Dude, that's fucking
the,
sweet.
The big, the tri.
Yeah, the three-headed thing.
It's like the Janus.
Before he dies?
Sentinel.
yeah,
He
yeah,
dies.
yeah.
Well, he dies inside the Sentinel,
Yeah.
blowing it up.
I forget what he says. His last line's so cool, though. But
Yeah. It
But
obviously wasn't
He's
important.
like one of my favorite X-Men characters.
Oh, yeah.
And it was such a letdown seeing Channing Tatum being.
See, I
being Gambit.
disagree that it was a letdown, but
disagree.
I think that if they would have done a movie with Channing Tatum, I don't know if I would have been on board for
100%.
it.
He was
But
fine as a cameo, but yeah.
Again, I don't consider him a cameo.
I even like the original one from Wolverine better.
Oh God, he was awful in Origins.
That's Riggs from Friday Night Lights. I forget the actor.
Oh yes, it is, and that was supposed to be part of his trajectory into like doing
Well, he got
good
screwed by
movies.
John Carter, which is weird because I thought John Carter was a fine
It was
movie.
a bad
too.
movie.
I like John
Well,
Carter.
no, actually, it's a cult classic, but the problem is it bombed at the box office, which is stupid.
But it's also like, so you can have movies that bomb at the Starship Trooper, or not Starship, yeah, Starship Trooper bombed at the box office and is now a cult classic, but is rated
know.
heavily.
Hey.
John Carter isn't rated heavily.
Speaking of
The
like,
Crow?
yeah, I was about to say, put it in the superhero mold. The Crow, one of the greatest superhero movies ever made, did terrible in the box office.
But has made millions in DVD and
Shawshank,
downloads.
one of the greatest movies of all time, did nothing in the theater. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems like one of those movies you don't want to see in the theater.
I would watch that. I would have watched that in the theater.
Yeah, but,
But-
you'll watch movies just to watch movies.
yeah, but you like Deadpool 3.
Yeah, I do. Because I'm normal.
I liked it. It's just I
Not for me.
I enjoyed laughing at it. It had a lot of funny parts. Do I think it was a great script
It had
and
too
movie?
much
No.
hype for me. I hyped it up too much myself, I think.
The one thing I think we should all be able to agree on, except maybe Roger, is thank God it was at least a movie that to me was enjoyable because Marvel has been putting out so many dumpster fires.
Well, I
that
think
this
that's
was-
also why this is the only movie we're getting this year. The next movie we get isn't until February of
I'm
next
just
year.
saying, this point forward, the slate looks pretty good to me. Fantastic Four sounds like it's going to be good. I love that they're doing like a retro vibe for it.
Yeah.
You have the original Fantastic Four mobile car thing.
Which
I
was
think it's called the
also
Q
which is
jet,
also
but-
in Deadpool, the Fantastic Four vehicle. That's what they're driving. One of the vehicles they're driving during the Mad Max scene.
Yep. So I'm excited for that. I'm
Who
excited.
owns the right to Mad Max? Is it Fox?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I don't know how they got permission for that, but
Tina Turner,
they
I
made
think.
those jokes, and I was just like, "Ooh, this
Yeah.
is really Mad Max."
I really hope you got the copyright for that one.
And then he does that whole line holding up that guy's Sabretooth's head. And then, like, I have the head of Furiosa, and
Yeah.
then this
Oh,
one
yeah,
answers
yeah.
to me. Like, yeah, they had to have gotten permission, because otherwise that's got to be a lawsuit written all over it.
I mean, Disney owns like everything now, so they probably
Yeah.
are good.
So what did you like about the movie, Mike? Like, what was your favorite part or favorite thing about the movie?
The end.
I mean, I like seeing Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Warner Brothers, by the way.
Warner Brothers owns,
Mad
so
Max.
it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
so they had to have gotten something or went to a lawyer and been like, how much can we do without
How
getting
close
sued?
can we get?
Doesn't Disney own WB now?
No. WB is HBO area.
I was gonna say, if
I thought they owned that.
Disney
too.
owned
No.
the WB, we'd be looking at some serious antitrust laws that'd be happening.
Yeah, WB is like DC-ish.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you're right.
Um,
Surprisingly.
what were we saying? What did you say you liked? Oh,
I don't know,
Wolverine.
you asked me questions and then you completely.
Well,
don't
no,
listen
he
the
jumped to
answer.
something else.
Me?
But Wolverine.
I answered a question.
Yeah.
Oh, he answered a question.
You
That's right.
fuck.
It's usually
You're
you.
always trying to blame me.
But yes,
I
so
got
you
you,
got to
Wolverine.
see Hugh Jackman play Wolverine, which I granted he's
You're
fantastic
gonna
as
be
Wolverine.
Wolverine till you're 90.
Yeah. What did you think
that's-
about the variants of him that you got to see in the beginning? Like the funny little montage.
Yeah, that was fine.
I like the short one was funny.
The
I mean,
5-3-1.
don't get me wrong. There's like a lot
The
of parts of the movie that I like.
Canonically correct Wolverine.
The canonically correct height of Wolverine.
Overall,
yes.
the movie was enjoyable to watch. It was all over the place, and there was a lot of stuff that was it just seemed like it was thrown in, like Deadpool Dogpool.
Dogpool? I mean, it's from the comics.
Yeah,
I know.
And he was
Dogpool.
hysterical.
I agree with you that it was all over the place, but that's just because it was so linear that it was.
It's also Deadpool. All three movies are all over the place. That's
Oh, this one
his
was
comics are all over the
this
place.
one was the most all over.
I think
the
I'll
place.
just summarize this. It's a perfect movie to watch once. I'll never watch it again.
Oh,
I've
see,
already
I
watched it
disagree.
again, and I would go watch it again. If somebody went, they won't. But if they were like, "Let's go see it again," great. Let's grab our shit right now and go see it.
I'm the king of rewatching shit, but I don't understand rewatching something 2 days after I just
Because you can
watched it.
catch things that you didn't catch.
I'll catch it when I watch it 3 months from now. When
That's
it's
too
released.
long. I want to watch it again. It was
Yeah.
great.
That's
Like-
it's weird to me, but do you?
Like Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yep.
Is rewatchable.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one is rewatchable a year from now when I forget that I
Even saw it.
watched it. Yeah.
Nah, it's definitely what I'll say is all my excitement went hey, I'm about to watch this movie. I've been waiting for this movie for however many years. It's been like 4, 5, 6 years since Deadpool 2 came out. So that excitement went away from the first time to the second time, but I still
So you
went in
climaxed early.
enjoying the movie. Like the entire time I wasn't bored. It's a very fun ride from start to finish. I disagree with a lot of you guys' sentiment about the linear, that it's not linear. It's Deadpool. He jumps back and forth. He breaks the fourth wall. They do the flashback thing like they did in all the other Deadpool
I
movies.
feel-
Well,
He
that's
also
fine,
breaks the
but
fourth
that's
wall.
not linear. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that it's not linear. I'm just saying, as movies go, this isn't a linear storyline.
You can literally map it from start to finish. So I don't understand what your definition of linear is, I guess.
The movie takes place in jumping universes and jumping timelines.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's not linear.
The story is not a linear story.
Because they jump to a different timeline that to you means it's not linear.
I mean, linear is progressing in a straight line.
That's it. The story, they're still aging and everything's still happening in a straight line. It's like if we started our movie in Maine and then we traveled to New York. We went somewhere else. That's still a linear story.
It's all right. We'll just disagree.
Like I said, I don't understand what you mean by linear.
It's fine. You're dug in.
It's not dug in. I'm waiting for you to give me an explanation that makes sense. Because what you said was because they jump timelines, but it's literally them just changing locations. So why doesn't that make it linear?
Throughout the story all the time without much explanation, and then things get brought back up from previous that weren't explained and weren't outlined very well at all.
How do they jump without explanation? They get Deadpool steals the thing to go find different Wolverine variants. He steals the thing, so that's explained. And then he gets purged, or whatever you want to call it, and they go to the, whatchamacallit.
Why did they even bring him? Because the people up above said he's special?
Yes.
So then why did they bring him in and be like, by the way, we're going to destroy your universe?
The universe was already being destroyed.
Why tell him?
Because he said he was going back. Like, hey, I'm going to go back to this. And they're like, no, you can't go back.
They said it was being destroyed before he said he was going back. They said they...
No.
They said they brought him there because he was...
As soon as he gets his suit, he walks out and he says, hey, so let me just go back, tell my friends. And then Paradox is like, no, you don't understand. You're not going back.
Okay,
and then he explains that the universe is going to go away. They had the anchor.
Why would they tell him all that? Why not be like, no, it's too time sensitive. We need you to go now to do this other thing. Instead, by the way, I'm the bad guy. We're going to destroy your universe. Don't take this thing that lets you travel around and find a solution. It's the dumbest plot hole, and it set up the movie in a dumb way.
Disagree.
But I still enjoyed the movie. It just was a very stupid way to get it started.
My biggest issue is just Paradox in general. Of him being like, we don't prune timelines anymore, and I don't like that, so now we're going to create this
device to prune.
That's dumb, too.
That's my issue. Everything else, I don't understand what the issue is, but that is my part of his motivation behind it.
How did Deadpool know how to use the teleporter?
He didn't at first. He just pressed a button and went through a portal, and then after that I don't know.
So does anybody else have a problem that the big bad was just a middle manager?
So the big bad technically is supposed to be Nova, and then Paradox is like the side big bad.
But Paradox has the responsibility for literally everything, including Nova, so that means he's the primary antagonist. So I would say, why is it that we're afraid of a fucking middle manager?
I don't think anybody was afraid of him, but he set up a plan in motion, and then that's what you're having to deal with.
Also, isn't Loki supposed to be like holding all this shit together and not allowing this kind of crap?
I don't know when technically Loki takes place. So this takes place in 2024. The Marvel's after credit scene
this takes place after Loki because the chick there is in charge, which he leaves her in charge of the TVA.
Yeah, that makes sense. But he's just holding the timelines, but he's not holding every single one. As Paradox explained, when an anchor being dies, that universe will die. But instead of it just being purged and dying right away, it eventually just collapses on itself after like 1,000 or 2,000 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the whole premise to get it started had a lot of holes. It didn't make the movie unenjoyable to me, but it certainly wasn't a well-established story that I would have enjoyed. If you took the story and took out all the humor for me, I would have thought the movie was terrible. But I enjoyed the movie because it made me laugh.
I feel like that's a lot of comedies. If you take out the humor of it,
yeah,
that's fair. It's not a masterpiece movie.
It just is exactly what I said right after I left the theater. With that,
but I also don't like watching comedies.
Really?
No. Like, I'll watch action and sci-fi all day long.
Do you like action comedy? Because that's most of all the Marvel movies.
It's my favorite movie ever,
really.
The Princess Bride.
There's like, you have like you have the comic relief here and there, but I mean, they're not comedies.
Marvel movies?
Yeah. Well, not all Marvel.
They're not comedies.
I disagree. Like, to me, they are action comedies. It's or sci-fi comedies, whatever you
Action
want to say.
comedy would be like Rush Hour.
Yeah.
I agree with you because there's action. It's sci-fi comedy then or superhero comedy. All of the Marvel movies follow the same trope of having a superhero
Having
and
a
there's
comic
Is
relief.
Winter Soldier a comedy in your mind?
Is the original Captain America a comedy in
yes,
any capacity?
yes, there are tons of jokes in that movie from start to finish. Winter Soldier, I agree with you, is not.
Having
You-
a comic
you can
relief
have
and
2 or
being
3
a
jokes.
comedy.
Not 2 or 3 jokes. The first Captain America has a ton of jokes. A stupid amount of jokes. With Bucky making jokes the entire time, with Steve Rogers making jokes, with Peggy making jokes, with the guy.
They're not like
I was gonna say, I think
jokes.
we've seen different movies.
There are tons of jokes. And then when you get the
So-
soldiers together, that group, I can't remember their name, there's tons of jokes there with everybody there, with Neil McDonald, whatever his name is.
Neil McDonough.
There it is. Tons of jokes for the whole thing, and not to mention 2 of the characters within that group are literally just making jokes the entire time. So I completely
So is
disagree
Band
that
of
it's
Brothers a comedy? Because they make jokes with each other all the time.
not. No, it's more of a war biopic.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. You can have jokes in a movie without it being a comedy.
I say that the first Captain America has a exorbitant amount of jokes that makes it a comedy.
I don't
Winter
remember laughing
Soldier-
at it more.
Yeah.
ever.
Winter Soldier, I do not
Yeah,
believe
I
that.
didn't laugh at Captain America. I didn't see any jokes in it.
I
saw-
laughed at Captain America.
If you wanted to
quite a
say
lot.
Guardians of the Galaxy was an action comedy, I'd be
That
with
I
you.
agree.
I think Marvel started with the action comedy shit when Iron Man came out.
that was the first one.
I actually think it was
Iron Man
really
was
Guardians.
The first
Guardians and then Thor
No,
Ragnarok
I
double
want
down.
to. I want to agree with Roger. When Iron Man came out, which was the first MCU movie before all the other ones, I agree, Roger. It was an action sci-fi hero movie, and then there was Iron Man 2, and then there was Captain America and Thor and Captain America 3 and Avengers and yada yada.
Thor Dark World might have had jokes in it, but nobody was laughing at it because of
I
the
was
jokes.
laughing at the movie.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't good. What
Ugh,
about
that
you,
movie.
Corey? I know you enjoyed the ride of the movie, but what were your? Do you have any favorite scenes of the movie?
Favorite scenes. I thought it was funny when at the end when they're, even though the premise of it was silly to me, when they're holding hands and the Madonna song's going, and then Hugh Jackman's abs, and he's just like, that made me laugh. Most of my favorite scenes, I think, were the ones that made me laugh. I personally like Johnny Storm, but I think I might like that a little more because I'm in the minority that really liked the first Fantastic Four movie. Everybody
wasn't
else
bad.
seemed to hate it. I loved the casting for everything.
Most people hated the second one.
Everybody I've ever talked to is
Silver
like, both
Surfer.
of them were awful.
Yeah, Silver Surfer was not a good movie. But the first one was
Silver Surfer was fine. It was what Galactus. that
Yeah,
was
they made
terrible.
Galactus.
Well, I
beat.
meant the movie, which is called Silver Surfer, not
Yeah.
Silver Surfer's portrayal in it. But the Fantastic Four Silver Surfer is just not
That's
a good movie.
Same reason I put 2 in front of 1 in Deadpool. That movie didn't really have a good villain in my eyes. It basically was like Doctor Doom's kind of the villain again.
But who did you like as the villain in Deadpool 2?
Who did I like in it?
Yeah.
I like that it had multiple
Give me a villain.
antagonists. I would say it doesn't really have a villain. It has antagonists, which I'm fine with. It had Juggernaut. It had the kid, Fire Fist.
But
that's what he called it. Yeah.
But he's also not a villain,
He becomes
An
a
antagonist.
and
yeah.
then becomes a good guy.
No, he's a villain like in the future, and they have to prevent him
Right,
from becoming
correct,
a villain.
Well,
And
that's
that-
what Cable
and
wants
that's
to do.
why
Yes,
Right.
Cable was an antagonist too. I enjoyed that it didn't necessarily have a villain. It just had antagonists, which drove the story forward fine for me. I thought X-Force was awesome and hilarious.
it lasted 4 seconds, but I
It
agree
was
with
a
you.
hilarious setup.
Yeah.
I love that they had a random cameo with Brad Pitt getting electrocuted.
Which, speaking of which, they've had a cameo with Matt Damon and Brad Pitt in both of in the first 2 Deadpool movies.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody in the third one. I don't know if one of them was underneath the mask, but I didn't see him in the credits as one of the Deadpool variants. I know Matthew
Woody
McConaughey.
Harrelson is Deadpool, Cowboy Deadpool.
No, that's Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah,
is it?
Matthew
And
McConaughey.
Nathan Fillion is the Skull
The
Deadpool.
floating head, yeah.
And then obviously Blake Lively is Lady Deadpool, and then 2 of
Do
his
we
kids.
know that for sure?
Yes.
Amber Heard is Dogpool. Everybody can hate on Amber Heard, so it's okay.
And then Paul Mullins, who's a soccer player, is Welsh Deadpool.
Who was it Scottish Deadpool or was that Welsh?
Welsh.
Is that what I was
yes.
thinking of?
And that's
Okay.
Paul Mullins.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, same reason. Deadpool 1, the villain was terrible. And I know you always tell me that was kind of the point is you could just put they were making a joke about you could put any awful, doesn't matter, run-of-the-mill villain
I mean,
in
they
here.
say that during the movie, but I agree with you. It's a very weak villain.
It's kind of like when we had our escape room. We're like, this is a undercover detective's
It
apartment.
worked.
It's supposed to look like shit.
It worked, didn't it?
Yeah. But my point is, it might work, but at the same time, it doesn't make it an intriguing villain to watch. It was a terrible villain. I actually
then
think
you don't have a villain
Gina
in Deadpool
Carano
2.
was more entertaining to watch than Ed Skrein was as a villain.
Can we just get a petition going to bring the comic of Deadpool kills the founding fathers as the next Deadpool movie?
I want it to be
I don't know if they're going to do another Deadpool
I want
movie.
Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
No, I want the one where he kills Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson, where they come back to life and he has to kill them to save the world.
Somehow I don't see that happening.
Why?
For so many reasons.
I could see them doing it and releasing it on July 4th.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you hear what this movie was supposed to be called?
No, nor do I really care.
Thanks for joining the podcast, Roger.
Roger's killing you.
Did
Kill
you guys
the
ever
vibe.
watch Abraham Lincoln
Vampire Hunter?
Hunter?
It's so bad.
No, I
It's
loved
so
it.
awful.
Loved
I
it.
love
So
every
bad.
second
I
of
also
it.
loved Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
It's so bad.
Oh, fuck you.
It's
Jonah-
a bad movie.
Is Jonah Hex? Oh, is that DC?
That's DC.
Yeah.
And they
That was Josh
destroyed his
Brolin,
movie.
too.
And that was bad.
They destroyed his character with that movie.
I didn't hate that movie, but it definitely was like a 6 to me. Like, it was watchable, but that was about it.
Way lower than that.
It had
in
Megan
my
Fox
mind.
in it, too. So
Who's a terrible actress, but good to look at.
Transformers 1 was a formative movie for me as a youth. Now I want to buy a car that turns into a robot.
So besides for Roger, did you guys know what the title was supposed to be?
I don't care.
Deadpool 3.
No. It was supposed to be called Deadpool and Friend. And then that got leaked right before the trailer was supposed to come out on the Super Bowl. And everybody fucking hated it.
Yeah, it's a weird name.
And they already had shipped all this stuff all over to theaters to promote the movie that says Deadpool and Friend. And then, they had to pivot and change it and recall all those things before they got put out.
Should try to
and
find some of the stuff they sent.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be like Revenge of the Jedi.
I know, it'd be worth some money.
And then this movie also. So what about? I want to talk about the openings because you like the second movie. Do you even remember the opening of Deadpool 2? I'm gonna say you don't.
Yeah, he's killing. Why is he killing all the people? I can't remember.
So I'm already gonna tell you
He's killing a lot of
wrong.
people, and then they throw a knife and it hits Vanessa.
That's not the opening intro. Like, so this one has the opening intro where he's talking for a second, where he's digging up Logan.
Isn't he
but I
like-
mean the intro where it's showing the credits.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's in killing a bunch of like Japanese
Yeah, I thought
Nope.
so.
gangsters.
That's after the intro.
So it's
The
like
intro-
it's like an intro then a montage.
Yes.
Okay, what's the intro?
The intro is from James Bond. He's doing that.
yeah.
He does
I do
the
remember that.
entire intro
Yeah, I
like
was
it's a
fine with
James
that.
Bond
bullets
thing.
raining.
I
on
like
him and
James
stuff.
Bond, so that was good.
Yeah, it didn't hit for me like the first one slaps like there's no tomorrow.
I agree. The first intro was the best. The second one was the second best, and the third was third best.
You liked the 007 thing better than Bye 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 and
yeah.
murdering all those people. Like, okay, that's
I guess
wrong.
I wasn't thinking. The dance was stupid to me, but
The dance was stupid to you.
the murdering
Oh
people
my
was pretty
god,
cool.
it was so fucking funny.
No, I did like. You're right. I
Resident
liked the
party
murdering
pooper here
the
agrees.
people. I kind of forgot because he has the bones of Logan.
Yeah.
That was fucking stupid.
that-
and he
I like.
stabs one in the dick and one in the ass. It's fucking hysterical. He throws his fingertips into people. He starts killing people with the rib. It's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, no, that was a better intro than 2. That doesn't mean the movie's better than 2.
I just said intro. We were just talking about intro.
That's fine. Yeah, I kind of forgot what 2 and 3 were. So
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't have forgot what 3 was. We just watched it.
I didn't watch it twice like an idiot.
Yeah, but it's still 4 days, 5 days ago, a week ago. Never mind.
I have shit in my life that fills
Yeah,
up
you
stuff.
do so much like Apex. So, Roger, what was the part that you hated the most?
Being there.
No, I didn't like. For it being an average movie, can't say I hate it. It's just very forgettable. After we discuss this, if you don't keep bringing it up, which I know you will, it'll be as if it never existed to me.
You know, this is a nerdy podcast, right? With a lot of Marvel shit.
I'm not a Marvel guy. I'm a DC guy. I'm a fantasy guy.
So, did you see Joker?
I have.
Did you like it?
Oh, loved it.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Well, no, he's saying it wrong. Were you enjoying it the whole time, or did the end tie everything together? Because what we were sitting in the theater like, this is fucking terrible. And then the end kind of tied together the entire movie in a nice package. And all of a sudden I was like, I appreciate all of the shit we had to sit through to get to the culmination, which really wraps everything up nicely.
Yeah, his descent into madness. I mean, that's the entire point.
I know, but that first 2 hours or so was such a slog
I am
until
not
you got to
looking
the
forward
end.
to the second one.
That's one of the things I was going to ask. Are you looking forward to the second one with you
Not
being a DC guy?
Yeah.
All.
See, I'm looking forward to it only because that first one turned it around for me at the end of like really enjoying that movie, even though I'm probably never going to watch it again, at least not for a very long time.
Semi-musical?
Yes, which could be hysterical.
The thing is, I don't want my superhero movies to be all of this has to be constant quips, back and forth,
Sure.
bombastic action. I like my street level heroes. Nothing like, oh, I'm going to save the galaxy. No, I'm going to save like this 6-block area.
But if you have Deadpool, that's literally his character. It's quips constantly. It's a mark with the mouth. This is his
Correct.
nickname. So I understand there's some characters that shouldn't do that. That's not their character. But
That's
when
the
it's
entirety of the MCU. The entirety of
no,
the
I mean
MCU.
it's not the entirety.
Well,
I
no,
would say
no, I-
Kala Khan is not quip central. I will say Rambo is not quip central.
I think
I don't classify Rambo as a superhero.
I mean, she's one of the Marvels.
Fair.
pretty much ever since Guardians 1, Thor Ragnarok, and Ant-Man, it's been rinse and repeat of the idea of like every hero is going to be quipping and making jokes and not like there's no
Everybody's got to be
serious-
Spider-Man.
Yeah, and there's
Where was there a serious movie before that?
Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, I think, is after one of them. But yes, Winter Soldier, I agree, it's one of the reasons that Winter
Civil
Soldier
War.
is one of my favorite movies of the MCU that isn't an Avenger, or is my favorite movie, besides for if you count Deadpool, in the MCU, just because it is a fantastic film, which we'll get to in a second, but it's by the Russo brothers, which is also why I have so much faith in Doomsday and Secret Wars now.
Thor,
'cause that is
Thor
Russo.
1. Alright, Thor 2, I mean.
I was going to say, Thor 1 has tons of quips.
Thor 1 does not have tons of quips. It has tons of jokes at the expense of Thor being an old Viking and now in the real world now where he doesn't know how to
He's
interact.
not making senseless banter
Yeah,
with his
he's not
opponent.
quipping.
That amounts to nothing. It's not, at least Peter Parker stuff was topical back in the day. Now it's just kind of, I'm saying stuff to fill dead air because we have to have noise over our fight.
Yeah. Although
I mean, that is his character in the comics, though, too.
Correct. But now that's every single Marvel hero. It's just, I'm going to say something witty here because I don't know what to put into the space except for look at our CG effects. So we're going to sit here and watch a fight with music, but there's no dialogue, so no one can figure out what's happening. So we have to explain to the crowd what's happening.
So for some of them, I might agree with you, but for the ones where literally it's their character from the comics, then you're saying you don't like the comic, which is fine, but that's
Spider-Man
literally
is my favorite Marvel hero.
Right, and in his comic, he is constantly talking. That is part of his character.
Correct.
So when he's doing it in the movies, you don't like that.
Did I say
I
any
thought you
issues
just
with...
said that.
My
he said
issues are
everybody is
every
Spider-Man.
single character is Spider-Man, is Deadpool. Everybody's making these stupid
Gotcha.
fucking remarks.
So with Spider-Man, you're fine with.
Spider-Man, fine.
Okay.
Deadpool,
Fits
whatever.
his
Tony
character.
Stark, whatever. But Captain America doesn't need to start bantering with Red Skull over something stupid.
Does he?
He does.
Captain
In
America
all of-
would never go, "That's America's ass." Even though I thought the line was funny, he just wouldn't
That's
say
not
that.
him.
Well,
That's
I
not
mean,
Steve
it's
Rogers.
also, well, hang on, because you're talking about Steve Rogers that went through what he went through and then had Infinity War happen where he lost and half the planet went away. And then he had 5 years of depression without fighting anybody. Like, it's not like they had this big, more superhero
Correct. If
stuff
anything,
to do.
he should be. That should tie him away from making those stupid jokes.
See, I feel like it just makes him, now that he's back in the throw of it and getting back there, is then he can have that and enjoy it.
He can enjoy his ass.
He can enjoy his ass.
But just things like that annoy the shit out of me.
I guess I don't really notice it too much.
It's
when I'm
fanfare.
watching.
Because,
It's the
because
same-
you are the target demographic.
Yes.
You are
Thank
the
you.
Marvel fanboy. You will watch everything that they put out with and just think it's all good or
No.
all passable.
No.
Well, it's like you love.
Thor Dark World is garbage. Ant-Man Quantumania is pretty damn bad.
Come on.
Black, you didn't like Ant-Man Quantumania.
I liked it.
If we go back to the podcast, you fucking hated it. I was the one defending it.
No, I don't think so.
Also, you had like, I remember you giving me shit for saying No Way Home was not as good as everybody's making it out to sound because all they did was fanfare nonstop. The pointing thing was stupid. I understand.
Disagree.
The meme. Ooh, they
But
did
that's
the
what I'm
meme.
saying. He's right in the sense that you enjoy that shit.
If you
and they're
take that,
targeting people
if you
who
take
enjoy
that
it.
out of the movie's still a fantastic movie.
I didn't say I hated the movie. I said I hate the fact that there's constant fanfare in it
So
that overrides the fucking
There's
story.
not a, the
How does
stories
that
are
override
second
the
fiddle
story?
to.
It's
Oh my God! Look,
unnecessary.
it's whoever the fuck that is over there.
How about when they're waiting for the people at the statue and they're like, how many friggin' references can we make while we wait for the fans?
So with Spider-Man's talking about different things that they've done, which it talks about their movies and they're making references to their past movies that we've all seen, you didn't like that.
I didn't like the fact that Tom Holland's Peter Parker's aunt just died and they're trying to get these people down and they're just like lightheartedly talking. Your aunt just died, who's like the most important person in your life. There's
Yeah.
no way he'd be sitting there cracking jokes about like, where does your web come out of? He'd be fucking serious because his aunt just died.
He was serious until then he had a
And then-
conversation with both the other two Spider-Man
About
while
not
he was
killing
talking
them.
with Zendaya, when he was
Yeah.
talking with Mary Jane.
They reined him in from wanting vengeance. That's different from him now all of a sudden being like, it's been 15 minutes.
The only
frick that.
emotional connection I have left in this world is dead. Huh? Time to make
It's not
jokes.
his only emotional connection. He still has Mary Jane.
Who
And
remember.
then
Doesn't
the
go
guy. Well,
anywhere.
eventually he doesn't remember, but at that time he does remember her.
All I'm saying is if they wanted to throw that shit in before the serious stuff happened, maybe
Fine,
it would have made
cool.
more sense. It was real weird
I
for
don't-
it to be put in that order.
No, I don't think so. I think it was fine.
I just like serious movies. I mean, the jokes are comic relief and jokes are fine.
When I have something serious happen in my life, I want jokes.
That's
I want
not true.
laughter.
That's not true. When I got this.
One day.
That's
one
right.
day. But
He didn't even get an hour and a half.
I'm fine with jokes about other things. None of them were joking about her death.
But my point is, if you look at his face, there is no emotion of sadness left. He's just kind of like back to normal Spider-Man again. That's just a Tuesday.
People
My aunt
grieve
died.
differently, Corey.
Huh?
People grieve differently.
Yeah, no, it made no sense. You saw his reaction right after it happened. Emotional, great. I really enjoyed that, seeing that side of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Then it just is like,
It's
right
not.
back
There's
to
so
where they
much
It's like a
time that
switch flip.
passes between that because they talk him down, then they got to create all that stuff in that lab together, and then they go
So,
over to
like,
the
oh,
Statue
you're
of
right.
Liberty.
I gave him too much credit because I was thinking it was much later in the day before he started making jokes. They did the pointing meme
That
right
wasn't
after.
that was a joke for us. That wasn't a joke for them. None of them are laughing.
Yeah. All I'm saying is his mood went from heartbroken, seeking revenge to, okay, I won't seek revenge. I'm happy again.
Disagree.
Maybe he just grieves at an exponential rate.
Yeah.
He's
Just
got
like
the
his
strength
feeling.
exponentially. Why not grieving exponentially?
The strength, the regenerative capabilities, everything.
So let's wrap up this part, and then we're going to talk about Doomsday and New Avengers after that. But we're going to do ratings, even though I already know you people's fucking ratings. So, Roger,
6.
6.
Perfectly passable milk toast movie.
Mike?
It was 6.5.
So you've lowered it from when you watched it.
Well,
You said
no,
a 7
because you
was, like,
changed the
amazing.
scale to him.
It's not changing the scale.
Okay,
That's just what the scale
you
is.
changed
The
how
definition.
he should view the scale.
You changed the definition.
So when
of the
you
scale.
gave movies in the past a 7, you were saying that was an average movie?
7 is like
passable.
passable.
That's crazy. Because a 10 is a masterpiece. A 9 is right below that. An 8 is so close up there. And then there's 7. You're like, that's passable. That's such a weird...
I've often said 5 for me and below are movies that like I can't watch. Any movie that's
A movie that's a 5 you can't watch. 5 is like I can barely get through this movie.
sure,
And then below that
4.5
means I
is like,
fucking hated
I
it.
regretted watching it. Anything above a 5 is something I didn't necessarily regret watching, but it just wasn't a good movie. And then as you get closer to 10, obviously it's great. But
See-
so 5 to me is not average, because an average movie might not be bad, but you have to think of the great spectrum of movies. I think there's a lot more movies between 1 and 7 than there are between 7 and 10.
Yes.
So my perspective is this: like 5 is the cutoff point before it gets to be so bad it's good. Like that is the
No, that's
No.
to me that's a 2.
No, it's
Right.
2
negative.
is so
Rubber-
bad it's
Rubber is
good.
a 1, but it's so bad.
it almost
watchable.
it almost ricochets back up to a 10.
Have you watched it since?
Yes, I've
Not
watched
you.
Rubber
I'm
a few
asking
times.
him.
No.
Would you ever watch it again?
Sure.
Oh, there's no way. You fucking hated
Fuck
it through
you.
the
You
whole
wouldn't watch
time.
it again.
Has anybody seen The Room?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Fucking it's
terrible.
awful.
I know, but it's so good.
Now, Teeth, it was so bad it was good.
I've watched that 3 times.
Just the one-liners from that will keep me going
Vagina.
for years.
Da-da-da-da-da.
It does exist. I still love when
But
Aki
no,
texts me that.
5 is like the level where it's so bad it shouldn't be made, and then anything below that we start dipping to the point where they're in on the joke and they know it's going to be terrible.
See, I disagree about that they're in on the joke, because there are some movies that I would put at like a 4 or 3 that they thought they were doing a good movie. Morbius thought they were doing a good movie.
That's
it's
not
not a
below
good
a
movie.
5.
Yes, it is.
Well, I
Morbius is a
disagree.
5.
That's a 4 at best.
I
is
didn't,
such a
regret,
bad
I didn't
movie.
regret watching it.
I
It
did.
just wasn't a good movie.
I absolutely regretted watching that movie. It was garbage.
It was fine. It had a really good villain.
It did. That's the only thing that movie had going
So
for
I'm
it.
saying
Nothing else.
It had some redeeming qualities.
No, it is so bad. I'm very surprised that you didn't regret watching it, because I'm pretty sure after that you're like, well, that was a fucking waste of time. To me, hearing that means you regretted watching it.
When is Kraven the Hunter coming out? I thought that was
November?
this year.
Yeah,
Hopefully
it's November,
never.
but it's
Now-
There's no other Marvel movies.
it's a Sony movie.
Now, Madam Web was
Oh
less than
god,
a 5.
Madam Web was so
Because I
bad.
actually, it's funny, when it started, I was like,
That's a 2.
I was like,
Never
I don't
seen
know
it.
why people
Don't.
thought this was that bad
It's
in
free
the
on
first
Netflix,
20
if that
minutes. And then
matters.
it just kept getting worse.
Oh, it's so fucking bad. The dialogue, the acting, everything is atrocious.
Just the decisions in that movie make no sense. Let's go dance at a diner, even though we're supposed to be hiding out.
I don't
I don't
understand.
know. I don't know how you could stretch a movie out to be 2 hours of an ancillary character in a Spider-Man series who's
Without
a
Spider-Man?
90-year-old woman who's just a prophet.
Well, in
Well,
this
she
one,
was
she's
a
much
90.
younger.
She was, what's that actress's name?
The girl from
50 Shades of Grey.
Shades. I don't remember her name off the top of my head.
Don't know, don't care.
But it's
don't
a
watch
bad movie. But yes, Kraven the Hunter and Venom 2, both or Venom 3 come out this year.
Yes.
I think Kraven is October, November,
Doesn't
and
Venom
then
3 have Tom Holland in it?
no, Tom Hardy
Hardy.
as the guy who was in Venom.
I understand that that's him, but isn't Tom Holland
No.
as Spider-Man?
No, I don't.
Are
Or
they in the
unless
same
that's a
universe?
surprise, but no.
Yeah, they could make a surprise of it.
But
Well,
right,
he already did, though.
well, no, because he went into his universe and then he came back into his universe.
Yeah.
That was the ending scene of Venom.
I actually
2.
heard a rumor
Never
that
watched it.
Andrew Garfield's going to be in it.
Okay.
Because
I've heard that too.
They never introduced Venom in his universe.
Right.
Spider-Man.
And he also mentions it in No Way Home that he wants to fight an alien. That's the joke behind it, because he didn't get to fight Venom or Thanos. He never fought an alien. So Corey, your rating? We've heard a 5. We've heard a 6 or 6
I'm
and a
a
half.
6, sir.
Oh, 6. Sorry, 6, 6.5, and
Probably like I'm probably pretty close to Rotten Tomatoes, somewhere between like a 7.8 and an 8.
oh, you okay?
7.8.
Yeah, I was like 7,
Yeah.
8, or 8, and I was like,
Yeah.
two of those numbers are the same.
The problem is I found a lot of the stuff funny, which I'm probably giving it too many props for that, because I'm trying to be like more, how is the movie if you take out just the things I found funny? Is the story good? Is the character development good? Stuff like that. So I probably should be more like 7.5, but I'd give it an 8 on a personal level, I guess.
So the first watching it was 8.5. Second watching, when you take away some of the excitement and knowing those cameos are going to happen, it just dropped to an 8. But it's still, from start to finish, is just a fantastic, fun ride. And seeing Deadpool and Wolverine together was great. I disagree wholeheartedly with you two about the van scene. The van scene is absolutely fantastic and so fun to watch both times of them fighting in the van. It's so fucking hilarious.
So averaged out at 7.125 between the four of us.
Sounds
yeah,
right.
but two of you people
Sounds
just don't
average.
count.
It is
That's a C.
perfectly average.
I mean, again, a 7 is not average, but it's fine. So let's move on to the announcement.
Well, what kind of scale are you using? Is it a linear scale or
Are we going by like orders of magnitude? Is it like the Schmidt
If
pain
we
index?
saw a movie got a 7 out of 10 on Rotten
It's like the
Tomatoes,
Richter
we're not
scale,
thinking that's
like,
average.
It just goes exponentially
That's just
up,
that,
right?
that's end of
Actually,
story.
I kind of disagree.
I disagree with your disagreement, because when we've seen movies that are 7, we're like, oh,
That's
that
why I
should be
like
good.
the, Schmidt
That's
pain
not
index.
true.
Everything is an order of
KJ, when we
magnitude, so
see
it's 10
movies
times
that are
more than the last.
70%
It's the same with the
Rotten
Richter
Tomatoes,
scale.
we don't go, oh, that's going to be
like
good.
a
We go,
7.1 to a 7.2
it might not be bad,
isn't
and we go
like
see it anyway.
0.1 magnitude.
It basically
It's
means
like
it's
10x.
it's going to be watchable at least. If it's not above 80, we've never been like, oh, it's getting good ratings. And half the time, we don't even trust Rotten Tomatoes anymore because they think Venom's fucking amazing.
They do, which is terrible.
Like a shit rolling down.
Mid
I
movie.
mean, it had a good storyline.
Venom?
Yeah.
No, it
No, it didn't.
it
I like Tom Hardy as an
bastardized
actor.
a good story.
Tom Hardy
storyline.
did fantastic, especially the dealing with the Venom part and showing the effect it was having on him. I love that part.
No, I just think he's a good actor, period.
Oh,
Like,
well, sure.
Put him in any role.
certain movies.
Put him in
He
any
was,
role.
He was terrible in the movie where he was playing his own brother. Like, that movie was garbage. I can't remember the name of it.
I don't think it was I didn't like
fun
it, but I
watching.
just don't think it was a movie I was ever going to like.
Yeah, it just wasn't good.
Yeah, his movie Legend has always tainted me, so.
Isn't that movie?
Legend, that's the MMA movie.
No, it's the gangster movie. Where
Yeah, with him and his brother.
No. He's talking about. Are you talking about Legend where they're running booze, or you're talking about the Legend where he's
Running
his own
booze.
brother? Yeah, he's talking about the booze running one.
Yeah, the
which
one
is a
with
good
the
movie.
1920s
Yes.
English gangsters. Really good.
He's also in Peaky
Isn't that the
Blinders.
one
He
where
is,
he's
he's
his
Alfie.
own brother?
I don't think so. I think we're thinking of different
They're
movies.
twins in Legend, right?
No, they're two different actors.
I'm so confused.
What? No,
He
it's
has a brother in Legend, but it's two different actors.
Are you sure? I could have sworn it's Tom. I'm pretty sure that's the one.
No.
One of them wears glasses and one doesn't.
Tom Hardy filmography. Yeah, Legend is that movie that he's talking about where he does play his own brother.
Oh,
You
okay.
just said
That's
no.
the awful one.
I still liked it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name of that movie that he
Just give
did.
it a 7.
Taboo is a
No,
TV
I'm thinking
show
eight and a
where
half.
he was like criminal.
I mean, he was good in Mad Max.
He was great in Peaky Blinders.
Has anyone seen
Tom Hardy was in Peaky
the
Blinders?
Yeah, he's Alfie.
motorcycle-
I didn't get to that part. I only started getting into the first season.
Spoilers.
the bikers or whatever the biker.
The new
gang.
one, yeah.
The Bike
I
Riders.
haven't, the Bike Riders. I haven't watched it. I haven't heard
It just
anything
sounds
good or
so
bad.
dumb.
The name sounds stupid as heck.
But
I will say.
he's the guy in the.
Yeah,
Him and Norman Reedus.
what? He's not in it.
Yeah, he is.
Norman Reedus is?
Yeah, he's the other co-lead.
No, the other co-lead is the guy who played Elvis.
Look, Norman Reedus is the other co-lead of the Bike
I
Riders
think he's right because I remember seeing.
because he's the guy who literally wrote it, funded
No,
it.
it's Austin Butler.
Thank you.
But Norman Reedus is in it.
I maybe I haven't seen it,
Yeah.
but I just
But
meant
the main guy is Austin Butler.
Yeah, Austin Butler plays like the young guy trying to get in, like rolls into town and joins their gang, and then Tom
Yeah.
Hardy's like the boss, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but
I don't
probably
plan on
won't.
it.
What's it?
I don't go to the movies often,
I
so
probably won't unless it comes out on streaming someday. But
So they made the announcement at Comic-Con that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back for
as Doctor Doom.
Black Panther, actually.
as Doctor Doom.
Awful
for
choice.
both. We'll get into that in a second, but it's for both Avengers Doomsday, which takes over for Avengers Kang Dynasty,
Well, can
and
I
then
pause real
hang
quick?
on, and then Avengers Secret
you can't
Wars.
pause.
So what's up?
Okay. There's a storyline where Tony Stark in an alternate universe is Doctor Doom.
Well, there's actually a few different storylines
Doctor
of
Doom
that.
takes over for Tony Stark after he dies and becomes the Doom Iron Man.
No, so yes,
Tony Stark
yes,
dies.
yes,
that
but
one
then
too.
there's that one,
another
and then
where
there's
Tony
another one.
Stark is literally Doctor Doom.
And then there's another one where Victor Von Doom puts his mind inside Tony Stark. So even though you're seeing Tony Stark's face, it is Victor Von Doom in there.
So I
they
guess
have
what I'm
three
saying
different
is
versions.
The premise is not crazy to me. I'm assuming they're adapting one of the versions where Tony Stark.
Hear me out. This just sounds like we need to get butts in seats.
It's 100%
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It is 1,000. But I'm not mad at it
But
because
they'll
I
be able
trust
to
the Russo
justify.
brothers.
I don't.
I do. Captain America: Winter Soldier is a near perfect movie. Civil War is fantastic. Infinity War great. Endgame amazing. So
Once again, Marvel fanboy.
but I can also say when Marvel has bad movies, I have no problem if the movie wasn't fun
Well,
or
to be
enjoyable.
fair, the only ones you will say are bad movies are the ones
the
that no
collective.
one's saying is a good movie.
Your hive mind has deemed these are bad.
I disagree. I'm able to think for myself and know what I consider a good or bad movie.
But we can't. We clearly can't think for ourselves.
I know.
You can, but you're just wrong.
Yeah, see? Well, you were wrong about a lot of stuff, I guess. I don't think
Batman.
Oh, Batman's bad.
See,
Like he
you're
thinks
wrong.
that as well.
What one?
Batman.
The Batman?
Which
Batman.
one?
The Batman.
I liked it.
The Batman. It's so
Ah.
fucking
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
slow
There we
and
go.
boring.
Come on in, Roger.
The
Welcome to
Batman
the
was,
podcast.
was watchable and fine. It's just nowhere near the Dark Knight trilogy.
Nothing can top the Dark Knight
yeah,
trilogy.
you're.
Well, that's not true.
Okay, what tops it?
The third Dark Knight movie was unbearable for me at a lot of parts because fucking
Also, Tom
Christian
Hardy.
Bale's accent. He honestly, the Dark Knight itself with the Joker, Heath Ledger, fucking amazing. When I watched that movie
Yeah, the role that killed him. Yeah, of course it's going to be amazing. It's his little reason for living at that point.
It
well,
wasn't even his last movie though.
it was his last full movie.
It was his last full
Yeah.
movie.
Correct. He was in filming something else while he was working from the drug rehab from Joker.
Correct, yes. And I loved Heath Ledger, which sucks. A Knight's Tale is my guilty
Great
pleasure
movie.
top 5 movie.
Why would you make it a guilty pleasure?
Because
That's just a good
because
movie.
nobody's
I like
going to
it.
get put that on their top 5 movie list most of
Oh,
the
it's
time.
definitely not in the top 5, but it's a good movie.
Yeah,
it's
it's
funny.
It's even better when you've read the Canterbury Tales and realize all the references and that Geoffrey Chaucer is his herald is just fucking hilarious.
Yes,
It's a great movie.
it is.
It's not a great
And it has
movie, but
my
it's a fun
favorite
movie.
combination, which is medieval times and 80s rock music. If you merge those two things, you ever play Kingdom Under Fire on
Yes.
Xbox back in the day? Fucking love that game. Anyway.
And it's got a good role for Alan Tudyk.
yes.
Yeah.
And Mark Addy.
Mhm.
Yep.
Anyway, back to your discussion.
What was I saying?
He's already forgotten.
Batman's
Perfect.
a good movie.
Batman was a
no.
good movie.
No.
Perfect
No, The
service.
Dark Knight. Loved the Joker in it. If you go back and watch it, it's really hard to deal with Christian Bale's Batman voice in that movie because in the first movie when he does it, it kind of fits. In the second and third movie, it's like fucking kind of terrible. And I like Christian Bale a lot, but the Batman voice was terrible in the second
Yeah,
and third
probably
one.
put a strain on his voice, man.
Probably, I don't know what it is, or he was overdoing it, trying to do kind of like, oh, one was so good, I got to go even harder on this one. I don't
Maybe.
know what it was. Second, third one, listen to him talk as Batman is painful to me.
I don't notice it when I watch the movies. I don't.
I don't.
I don't let it. I don't let it detract from, I guess, what's going on. Where I'm hearing it and going, nails on chalkboard type of thing, which
It
sounds like you do.
In the second one, when he's like, I'm not wearing hockey pads or something, but when he says it in his Batman voice, it's like, dude, you're in a parking garage with one other guy. You don't have to go that hard with the voice on this. It's not even like he's masking at that point. It's like, I'm not wearing hockey pads. It's fucking
It's
ridiculous.
like we're in the same room as him. Holy shit.
I feel like that voice is accentuated from watching like the
Batman.
The Batman.
Yes. I think. Yeah.
Honestly, I think
that's what I
Batman's
think.
voice might be better than his in the
Pete
second and
Holmes
third
and
one.
I
Helicopter.
disagree.
You think the enter's
He's sleeping.
helicopter?
But I think that's when it really became a caricature, because in the first one, I think like his voice makes sense. He's masking his identity, and it's not overdone. In the second and the third one, I think it became kind of a joke, and that's when Batman kind of took over.
Yeah. All right. Enough about Batman, because we've talked about Batman a stupid amount on this in
The
all of our
clearly
podcasts.
superior franchise.
Franchise compared to the MCU, no. Franchise for an individual character, probably, yeah. And not, but they've had some terrible fucking movies. Like Batman and Robin is so fucking bad.
Batman
It's a
Forever.
toy commercial.
Batman Forever. Wait, Batman Forever?
Batman Forever.
That's
Which
the
one's
one
Batman
with-
Forever?
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, that's Batman and Robin.
That's Batman and Robin, which is so
Batman
bad.
Forever
Batman
is Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it's the Riddler. Yeah.
But it also what's his face is Two-Face. Who's the
Tommy Lee
Batman in
Jones?
that?
Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face is awful.
Yeah.
But who's Batman in that?
That
Is
is...
it Kilmer or is it?
No, it's not Kilmer. It is.
It's not Keaton, is it?
Yeah, it's Michael Keaton.
No, it's not.
No?
No, Michael Keaton's is Batman with the Joker played by Jack Nicholson,
okay.
and then it's Michael Keaton again when
With
it's
Catwoman and Penguin.
Penguin.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Well. Yeah.
So it'd have to be Val
Also,
Kilmer.
So it has to be Val. It's Val.
It's
Kilmer.
Val Kilmer.
Also,
Yeah,
all of
Batman
those
Yeah.
movies were marketed to little kids, not man-children.
Well, the
Well, Batman with Michael Keaton
Wasn't.
right.
But
The
Batman
other
and
ones,
Robin
yeah.
was marketed to 4-year-olds.
Yes,
Yes.
but that also one of them was done by Tim
Yeah.
Burton, and that
the
absolutely
one with Jack
marketed to
Nicholson.
kids. Yes, absolutely marketed to kids.
What? No, Tim Burton did the one with Michael Keaton.
Yes.
No, I
No,
thought he
you
did the
did-
one with Kilmer.
No,
Tim-
that was Joel Schumacher.
That was a Schumacher.
Yeah, Tim.
Right? And I know that because George Clooney it was on a talk show, and he's like, imagine doing this in a suit where you can't move and for some reason has nipples, and you have Joel Schumacher going, okay, your parents
Well,
have died, and you're upset.
But that's Batman and Robin. But the one before that with Kilmer.
That
I don't know.
There
who
was
did
no
that
one before that with Kilmer.
Tim Burton did the one with Penguin. For
Yeah,
sure.
which-
And,
But that's
he did the
but
one with
that's
Jack
Keaton.
Nichols.
That was
And that's
yeah.
Keaton.
Yes.
Kilmer, there's Batman and Robin, and then there's the one with Riddler and Poison Ivy. Those are the two Joel Schumacher and Michael Keaton movies.
Well, Kilmer wasn't in Batman and Robin.
So it goes Keaton, Kilmer, Clooney, right?
Keaton, Kilmer, Clooney.
Yes,
that's what I said.
Yeah, I just making sure I.
So it's
heard.
Batman Forever.
No, Batman.
Returns.
Anyway,
Batman Returns.
Yeah, there you go.
Then Batman Forever, and then Batman and Robin. So it's Batman Returns.
Those two
is
terrible
Kilmer.
movies are marketed to literal toddlers, compared to your stuff, which are voted for 13 to 14-year-olds.
Well, Batman Forever, I think, was a little bit for teens and maybe like.
But then
not
I
really.
agree with
Kinda
you with the nipples and George Clooney. It definitely seemed to be
Yeah,
100% marketed. Not necessarily like 4 or 5 years old, but like 6 through 10 because they're the ones buying the toys. But then you have obviously Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, still a terrible name for that last movie. And then you have Batman vs Superman, and then Justice League.
What's
and
the
then
animated one where it's old Batman and then the Joker kind of comes back?
The Killing Game?
No, it's Batman. I want to say it's the Dark Knight, but I feel like Dark Knight Returns, maybe.
I don't remember.
But that animated was honestly better than
Yeah,
some of the
DC
real ones.
animated movies
Oh, they're
slap.
so good, and the TV shows, Young Justice is like amazing.
we've had
Justice
this,
League.
We've had this
Yeah.
conversation many times in this
Batman
podcast
Beyond?
where we all
No.
That's old.
That's an old TV show. This was a mini. It was a 2-part movie, and I think it's Dark Knight Returns, which is based on a book, a comic graphic novel by I'm forgetting his name too. But anyway, in the first one, he's
Can
like,
he draw feet or not? Because if not, it's Rob Liefeld.
no, it's not. But he there's this sweet scene where like this giant mutant gang leader is beating the crap out of him, and he leads him into like a greasy area so he can escape. And the guy's like beating the crap out of him, and he's like, you think we're in a fight, but this is an operating table and I'm the surgeon. And he just starts devouring the guy, and he's like 65.
Mhm.
It's fucking badass. Most badass scene.
pivoting
Batman.
away from Batman again.
No.
Robert Downey Jr.
Is Batman?
He could be anything.
Terrible
Black-
fit.
Black
0 out of 10.
The problem is he's going to be Tony Stark as Doctor Doom.
That's
Well,
my big problem.
I disagree because it depends on what story they're trying to tell. If they do the Victor Von Doom in his body, then he can't be Tony Stark because he's not Tony Stark.
I'm just
He will
saying,
never
Robert
not
Downey
be-
Jr. is Tony Stark. If you watch him in any movie, even what was it, The Fugitive, or
That's not true. He's in Doctor Doolittle, and he's also.
yeah, but he's
that
terrible.
movie was
That's
so
a
bad
bad
count.
movie.
but
If,
the-
that, if
what is
that's
it,
the case of him not
Sherlock
being,
Holmes.
He's in Sherlock Holmes. I don't see him as
Sherlock
Iron Man in that.
Holmes?
he's
Yeah.
just
All
a
he is-
British. He's just a British Tony
He's
Stark.
a British Tony
disagree.
Stark.
The Judge.
even I
with
knew you were
Robert
going to say
Duvall?
that. He
Tropic
shows some
Thunder.
emotion in that. He's still snarky
What?
the whole
Tropic
movie.
Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
So he's black Tony Stark.
Yeah, he's Black Panther.
But anyway, it depends what they do. But I think that's part of it too, because you literally had Earth's greatest hero who sacrificed his life, and now he's going to try to destroy it.
Nah.
I disagree with that. That
Should have been a different
just
actor.
writing
Should've
it
been a
off.
brand new,
I feel like it's
brand new
gonna be-
actor.
I would have preferred it been a brand new actor, and I think it would have been if everything didn't happen with everybody revolting against Marvel putting out all this mediocre stuff, and if everything didn't happen with the actor Jonathan Majors who played Kang. And not to mention everybody's reception towards Kang was not what Marvel hoped it would be.
I don't like Jonathan Majors.
He's a really good actor in my opinion, but he
He's
just
fine.
didn't land everything you wanted to for Kang, and it wasn't like, so when you saw Thanos at the end of Avengers 1 or 2 or something like that, everybody's like, holy shit, it's Thanos.
Guardians.
And you didn't have, no, you see him then, but you see him
Oh,
before
you see him
that.
before, yeah.
Yeah,
Avengers
at the
1, I think.
end credit scene. Everybody was like, holy shit, we're going to get Thanos. And when people saw Kang, no one went, holy shit. People said holy shit about Doctor Doom, regardless of, even if you take away Robert Downey Jr., Doctor Doom is like one of the biggest villains in Marvel.
Correct. These are also bigger name villains than Kang the Conqueror.
Right.
If you see Kang the Conqueror, like, who the fuck cares?
Well, that's
Agreed.
why I think
Kang is one of the lamest villains in Marvel, in my opinion. I know he was a big villain of the Avengers and all these people. The dude, he's a time traveler. He's got some tech. It's not exciting. They have Galactus. They have Thanos.
Well, I
Eternity.
thought that they might do
The Living
Doctor Doom
Tribunal.
on their next phase. I think that might even been their plan, because they're just introducing Fantastic Four. So if they could do Kang and had the same big thing with it and finish out with Secret Wars without Doctor Doom, which wouldn't make any sense. But if they were able to do that, then
We're gonna
they
get
have
JoJo.
another X amount of
Thanks,
years.
JoJo?
I don't know.
The big bad of X-Men.
Jojo?
JoJo?
Yeah, he's like the mutant guy that like it makes
Mojo.
Mojo. Okay,
That's
what
why
it
I
is.
was like, what is he
Not
talking
JoJo.
about?
Jojo
Mojo.
Siwa?
Do you
Is
know
that-
who Mojo is?
No.
Mojo basically
turns everything into like a
TV show. Yeah, so he'll capture like the X-Men and make them fight to the death and stuff. And
I'm just waiting for them to put in the one above all so we can have an actual like comic book dork in here controlling the universe.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't see them doing
That would make them.
It's
That's
gonna
the-
be Kevin Feige.
Feige.
No, make it Kevin Smith. Make it a real make it a real comic book nerd. Make it Kevin Smith so he can come in,
Dogma.
just destroy the universe and just say it's all shit, because that's pretty much what he's been
It's
doing
gonna
with
be
all
Alanis
Marvel.
Morissette.
So, I know how Roger feels. What do you feel about RDJ coming back and the Russo brothers coming back?
I've seen the story, like the comic book of him, so it didn't surprise me.
Well, you saw one comic of him. It didn't sound
Right.
like you heard about his or the one that I said.
Well, again, there's multiple, so
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I think if they go with the fact that he takes over as like a green Iron Man, because he has like a green and gold suit,
Yeah.
Doctor Doom suit. He gets Tony's tech.
Yeah. Well, because he takes over for obviously Tony, so now he has just vast amount of money.
Somehow he gets his like tech though.
Well, he made it himself in the comics. Like Doctor Doom is a super genius.
Yeah.
That's his power.
Well, he's
also he's a
super
megalomaniacal
genius,
dictator.
but he still uses like Tony's tech. Like I'm pretty sure he like hacks his network. or takes one of the AIs or something.
Yeah, I'm sure that he does. And it depends on which comic we're talking about, because there's other comics where they don't know each other. That's not a thing. They only meet each other during like Secret Wars,
And they
in some
fight
of the
each other,
comics.
and they just kind of like get to a stalemate, even though technically Doctor Doom should win, because he's got an entire nation at his beck and call. But
I mean, you're never ever gonna like. That's one thing with the heroes. Some of them lose, and it's a big deal, but it doesn't happen that often.
the problem with comic books and Marvel movies and everything is it doesn't matter who wins or who loses. It never has, and it never will.
Well, the comics especially, because there's always different iterations. They always bring people
even
back.
now, as we
and
see this, Iron Man's dead. No more Robert Downey Jr. Nah, fuck that. We gotta.
Nobody said
butts
no
in our
more
seat.
Robert Downey Jr. They said no more Iron Man, which is true. Because he's dead.
I'll put a $5 bet saying that Victor Von Doom, our Robert Downey Jr.'s new Von Doom, comes back and becomes the new Iron Man.
See, I think they kill him. I think they kill him in Secret Wars.
I don't.
Yeah, similar to what they did with
Case in point, the entirety of Adam Warlock's character and how he's so superfluous in the MCU.
Oh, that pissed me off to know tomorrow that he meant nothing. And
The
that
guy
is
who
such
literally
a
saves
huge
the
character.
universe.
Yeah, and not to mention has to fight with the Infinity Stone power to keep being good or being corrupted. And yeah, they didn't do well with that at all.
But see
in
what I mean? Like
Guardians.
this is how the big heads up at Disney think, oh my god, he's popular, he's going to be in every movie from now on. We can't let him leave. 90 years of Iron Man.
Well, I mean, again, I don't think so.
I
don't think he's going to come back to do another Iron Man.
it'll be Doom. It'll be, something stupid.
I think he's just back for three, maybe 4 movies. 3 is he'll have a.
He's only back
Only
for the
for-
next
no, he's just
major
gonna have a
plotline.
cameo.
So he's
in
only back for the
Fantastic.
next decade. Is what
He's
you're saying.
only the next 3 years.
till he's 90.
But no, he'll have a cameo in Fantastic Four, and then
He
obviously
should be the main
Doomsday-
villain of Fantastic Four.
Well, yes and no. They're saving him to be his own big villain in the movie Avengers
But
Doomsday.
he should get his powers at the same time as the Fantastic
Just
Four.
literally his origin story is getting his powers at the same time the Fantastic Four happens. Because
Yes. They're
he's
all
aboard
in
that
the shuttle.
spaceship, and like the radiation and shit hits that gives them powers, and it fucks him up.
Still may. It might give Victor Von Doom in the Fantastic Four movie powers, and then that
But he
person
doesn't
eventually.
get powers from it. Just it basically like
What-
destroys 90% of his body.
Well, whatever.
Well, he gets power.
It's this super mind, right?
Well, he
No,
already had
he's
it.
already really, really intelligent.
I thought that
he
cranked
can
it.
control like electrical fields or something like that.
Don't remember off the top of my head.
Neither do I.
I'm not going to comic find it.
He's
'cause I
like
don't care.
he's like the Magneto version of.
Well, that's metal.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like he can
Oh,
control
okay.
like electric fields, which makes him.
I
use
don't know.
magnetism.
I definitely think it's because Marvel went to both Robert Downey Jr. and the Russo brothers and went, "Hey, all this stuff has happened. We're looking to get everything back on track. Would you be
we
willing?"
need money.
They don't need money. They have tons of it, but they want to
So
keep
his
making
biggest
money.
one is element manipulation.
Okay.
He can also teleport. He has telekinesis. He can heal.
So again,
Absorb
that
power.
he could get those powers during that movie if this movie is like a prequel type of movie where you see them get their powers, which I don't know. I haven't seen the synopsis for the Fantastic Four movie. If it's going to be them going into space, getting their powers, coming back and dealing with it like the old Fantastic Four movie back in like the 2000s, or if it's going to be they already have their powers and we're already starting like the first Spider-Man or the MCU Spider-Man. He already had his powers and he went right into his own story. I don't know what they're trying to do with Fantastic Four. But it can be Victor Von Doom that got his powers that way. It also can be a Victor Von Doom from a different timeline that comes over into Earth 616 to take over.
You're just not going to separate Iron Man from Robert Downey Jr. in the Marvel universe, no matter how hard you try.
I think that's part of the point, is that you're going to be seeing him and seeing somebody who was the hero of Earth that was willing to sacrifice everything for years and years and years, and now he's going to be the Earth's greatest villain.
My problem with it is I don't see Robert Downey Jr. doing anything but being just a snarky villain. He's just going to be this...
Well, Doctor Doom is a snarky villain.
Yeah.
He's trying to be more menacing than anything and failing miserably at it.
I don't know. I mean, like, if you watch the original Fantastic Four, he already seems like feels like he's above them. But he also feels like jaded because he's not part of their original team. He was one of their...
He just wants to be hugged.
Well, he wants to rule the world.
Well, that too.
Well, he settles with Latveria, but we'll ignore that.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm excited for it. The way the Kang thing was going, I wasn't sure what to feel. I was going to watch it and we'll see what happens, but I wasn't excited for it, especially after Ant-Man Quantumania. Because if Ant-Man by himself was able to defeat him, then why is it a threat? But then at the end of Ant-Man, they showed that basically Kang Dynasty, you were going to be fighting every variant of Kang. So that could have been a fun movie to do, but now with the pivot, we'll kind of see where it goes now that the Kang thing is kind of like dead.
I will allow your hopeful optimism.
I mean, I could be wrong. I thought Ant-Man Quantumania, I loved the first Ant-Man. Second Ant-Man was pretty good, and I was expecting the same for the third, and it was bad. Thor, I really liked the first one. Second one was garbage. Third was amazing, and then the fourth one was really fucking bad. So you have those like hopes for some movies where you're hoping, like Black Panther 1 is a fantastic movie, and the second one, I didn't like it that much. A lot of people rave about it. I'm not that person. I didn't like it. I thought it was boring. And I didn't like the villain that turned into a good guy at the end anyway. Namor? Yeah.
You mean not Aquaman?
Yeah, basically.
He is a
hero.
Aquaman. He's a hero. He's always been a hero.
Yeah, but in the movie, he's the villain, and then he's the hero. Because they go down into, or they try to come up, and it's this whole
Because he's the
thing.
replacement for the Submariner.
Submariner.
My apologies.
Okay. So there's definitely been some bad ones along the way. There's been some bad TV shows along the way that they've released on Disney Plus. So if we can get it back to being like whittled down to being like 2 movies a year, maybe 2 TV shows a year, and putting... I agree, like, one would be better in
just
the
one
sense
movie.
of...
Just one movie.
I would agree in the sense of...
Put all your eggs in one basket, make it the best polished turd it could be.
But they have enough staff and everything to do that for 2 a year, and that's what they were doing before. With Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, the first Avengers, they were doing all these at a time. It's when they tried to go even bigger and pump out a movie every 2 to 3 months, and TV shows... You're just getting oversaturated, and what's the point? Because a lot of the TV shows and movies is like, why did any of this matter? And some of it did. Like, WandaVision I thought was fantastic, was great.
Didn't interest me.
And it's almost identical to the comics.
Agatha doesn't need to exist.
What doesn't?
Agatha.
I think
the
my
TV
biggest,
show? Or just her character in general?
The TV show coming out.
I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it has big plot points that might have impact.
It's just her origin story.
It's no. It's after. It's after the events of WandaVision. That's why she's I showed you the trailer. She gets her powers 300 years ago because she's a witch. She's
like an EMT or something.
No, she's a cop, but that's because Wanda made her at the end of WandaVision. She changed her to be like, okay, now you're going to be part of this town and you're going to forget all of your witch stuff. And then Aubrey Plaza's character, and I don't know what her name is in the Agatha show, pulls her out of it. Because she's basically living in her own mind that she's not that. Then she realizes, oh yeah, I'm still a witch. So that's the premise of it. It's not a prequel. It is a continuation.
No.
But I also don't think it's one of those that needed to be made.
Right.
But maybe I'm wrong. It depends what happens in it. Like, it could have crucial moments or things that happen or not. I don't know. But I'm probably still going to watch it because
you're a fanboy.
Well, no, I really like What's-Her-Face. And she was great as Agatha in WandaVision. The Agatha All Along song is fantastic and was hysterical.
Hey,
so
back.
we'll see how how it all shakes out with that and with all the other things. And now that Corey's back, I'm going to get his take before we wrap up the podcast.
I'm sweating.
On what is your take on Robert Downey Jr. being Doom? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you somewhat optimistically hopeful while being cautious?
I don't know. We'll just see how it goes.
Well, that's good. I'm glad I killed time so I get your opinion on this. And
Nobody
you're like,
asked you to.
I don't know. We'll see.
I did just read that there's a speculation that Chris Evans has come back as Magneto.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
I also don't
yet,
believe that.
but
And what do you mean coming back as Magneto? Like as a variant of Magneto?
He'll be Magneto. Yeah.
Moving forward?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Because
see that
Magneto has
happening.
been announced to be in Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
I don't
And I
know.
also didn't see anything about Magneto being in Thunderbolts. I'll have to look again, but I didn't see anything about that.
I don't know.
And that also, yeah, I don't think would make
I
much
feel like
sense.
that's
fun with
along
that.
the same line as like someone was like, oh well, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back, so he can come back, and they need a Magneto. So
Well, I mean, there's tons of people that could do Fassbender
I
did
know,
a
that's what I'm
fine
saying, like,
Magneto.
they just threw a random person out there.
Yeah.
I feel like both of their careers weren't doing shit after they left, and now they're like, we'll come back and take the fucking $20 million of payday. Or,
I don't. Robert Downey Jr.'s got a stupid
I meant
amount of
more
money.
Chris Evans.
Yeah,
I think
Robert
he
Downey
first.
Jr.'s stupid amount of money that they
I'm
gave
sure
him.
he did. Well, they need somebody to try to save them. I don't know if
they
that's
don't.
the right
They
That's
don't
where they're
need
at right now.
saving. They've
They
made
need a
tons of
bailout
money.
right now.
They were pretty close, honestly. If Deadpool wasn't coming out, I don't know what, like, Thunderbolts would have been the one to keep me interested, and I don't think it would have.
Yeah, I think this would have been.
That's for you, but they don't need saving. Maybe saving for
It'd be
you.
the end of the franchise.
I'm saying there's so many of me out there who are going to get sick of these shit movies they were putting out for the last 2.5
the fan
years.
group's going to dwindle, and if, for
Pretty
example,
sure they make a joke about that in Deadpool.
Deadpool, yeah, he does. He says
Yeah.
you're coming in at a bit of a low point.
Yeah.
yeah, if they didn't,
So they even recognize it.
Well, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy recognize it, and I'm sure Kevin Feige okayed the joke.
I mean,
Everybody
yes, there's
recognizes
going to
it.
be the Marvel fanboys like you who will just accept whatever they get.
Dude, we go to every single Marvel movie. We watch every single Marvel show.
I
This
know
is my
you
first
dragged
one
me
since
to the
Iron
mall.
Man.
Fuck you, I drag you. You were the first one to ever invite me to a Marvel movie.
And I've regretted it ever since.
this is my first Marvel movie in theaters since Iron Man.
That's 2008, 16 years ago. It's a long time.
Well, there's not very many movie theaters out there in the sticks either.
I can
How many
travel
bridges
down.
did you have to cross to get here?
Did you make
One.
it safely?
No, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure most of me washed away.
Yeah,
You should
Did
actually
you
be
cross
good
the
taste
bridge
is
or
still here, though.
fjord the river?
My good taste is still here, though.
All right. So, not sure what the episode's going to be about next week. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out in a few weeks.
Batman.
What?
I said
Batman?
Batman.
No.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm down for that.
In
Batman.
a few, no, we're not doing Batman. We've done 4
Vote.
episodes
Let's
on
vote.
Batman.
Long
Who
Halloween,
wants to
is
do
that what it is?
Batman?
Yeah,
Make
no.
it DC in general. I could talk for
We've
hours
done a
about
DC episode.
But we haven't done one with Roger.
We'll
I
see.
could talk Booster Gold.
We'll
for days.
talk. We'll talk. We'll figure it out.
Ted Ford?
And then in like another month, we're gonna
I'm
do
not wearing hockey pads.
We're gonna start a board game. What the hell is it called?
Kingdom Death.
Kingdom Death. We're gonna start that. We're gonna see how we can do it. But yeah, that should be
Poorly.
starting sometime in September. Oh yeah, we'll probably die a lot, is what I expect.
That gives you
Depend-
enough time to paint your minifigures.
Yeah, sure. I have to order them because, like I said, I had a rat eat half of my shit.
All your minifigures?
They're all chewed up.
So what? It'll make look cooler.
Yeah, it means when I die, it looks real.
You
But all
gotta order
right.
the whole game?
I have to order a lot of it because I can't order individual like monsters from it. I have to order a whole new set.
Ugh.
Meh.
That's like $400.
Yep.
Jesus.
Maybe we
Stupid
should
rat.
rethink that being the next thing we do.
I don't know.
I was gonna replace it anyway.
All right,
Fair.
we'll talk. We'll figure out the next episode. Anybody got closing thoughts before we're wrapping up? I know we're all sweating. I get it.
Sweating so bad.
All right, we'll wrap it up and we'll be back next week.
Bye.